Good morning. Do you remember a time when your life took a turn? A marriage, a death, a new job? Do you remember a time when events felt surreal? When everything happening to you seemed to have a profound dimension and power beyond your normal experience? My 40th birthday was like that, a few years ago now. My birthday is in late August, and my family and I were on a road trip through the Midwest. And not only was this birthday marking my passage into middle age, but also a beginning of a new career. I was entering seminary the following week, embarking on the mysterious journey towards ministry. This road trip was like a bridge between an earlier life and a new, unknown life ahead, and I was excited. We arrived in Moab, Utah, where we planned to camp in Arches National Park, but it was full and we were directed to a campground on the other side of town. We picked up some groceries, found a campsite, and pitched our little tent by the river. It had been a hot day in the car, and we were glad to be outside. The river was narrow and deep and running really strong, and the other side didn't have a bank, but rather a sheer cliff that rose up 100 feet above us. We were so close below it that when we sat down for dinner, the sun was already gone. My young children presented me with a little birthday cake that we began to eat straight out of the little plastic container. And halfway through the cake, the sky darkened and a wind tore down on us. And we looked up and saw a storm spilling over the top of the cliff edge down onto us. And as the dishes scattered, we grabbed the little cake and ran for the tent. We finished it in a huddle as the rain pounded down outside. Lightning and thunder exploded again and again, and as the wind ripped at our tent, my husband and I stood hunched inside with our children between our legs, as if standing over them would somehow make it safer. Now, I'm no stranger to camping or to storms, but this was my 40th birthday. I was on an important threshold in my life, and this is what I got: a storm. And not only a storm, but the worst storm I have ever experienced. I began to take it personally. Crash after crash, the thunder and lightning kept coming. As the storm went on, my resistance faded away, and I felt like I became one with the forces of the storm. They were speaking to my being, as if God was marking this birthday with me, trumpeting my new beginnings as a seminarian and a middle-aged woman. This storm was mine. I felt certain that if I counted the strokes of lightning, there would be 40. Pretty cool. Then again, 40 bolts of lightning are not the same as 40 butterflies or rainbows. And if God was marking this birthday with me, I was also being told that the journey ahead was going to be eventful. Signs that things are changing aren't always going to come as friendly reminders. I'm not alone in having experiences like this. We all do. We name them by different names. We experience them differently at different times. A feeling of transcendence after the death of a loved one. A sense of foreboding, like my storm. Being supported by invisible hands in times of duress. The expanding of our spirit in a moment of awe or compassion. These experiences can be so deep that the words we have feel inadequate to the task of describing them. This is the quest of poets and mystics. Christians use the language of God and grace Buddhists speak of enlightenment and humanists of peak experiences. We Unitarian Universalists use many languages and draw on many sources. And first and foremost among them is our direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces that create and uphold life. Whatever language we use, these experiences are an important part of being human. For some, these come as rare moments of connection with the cosmos, others as an ongoing flow with the divine. This is a church where we can bring our experiences in whatever language, where we encourage one another to honor and to nurture our connections with the larger whole, that which in our tradition we know by many names. Blessed be.